Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Chris Legaspi. I'm a professional artist, author, and anime instructor. Thank you for joining me today. Today, my friends, we have a special guest today. Today, we have our good friend and one of my longtime mentees, students, and a blossoming, wonderful artist of his own right, Mr. Willy O.
How you doing, Chris? Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you, Willie. Thank you for your time. So today, guys, what I'd like to do is just share a little bit about Willie's story, his journey as an artist. We'll start with showing some of his earlier works before he met me, and then we'll talk about some things he was going through while we started training together, and then we'll take a look at where he's at now and uh, and what he plans to do in the future. While we look at some of your gorgeous artwork, Willie, can you
Mhm.
share a little bit about your background? Where are you located? Maybe where have you studied before? Maybe some other artists that influence you. Have you taken any formal education? Things like that. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
All right, definitely. First off, thank you for this opportunity. I really
Mm,
appreciate it. I'm from Florida, born and raised. My education was always really self-taught. Majority of the times I would go on Instagram and meet like really, really great artists and say, "Hey, like, are you willing to mentor me?" And for short times, I would learn from those artists, maybe 6 months here, 7 months there, until I ran into you, of course, and which completely changed how I viewed art. And I'm not trying to diminish what the others taught me. They taught me the fundamentals and the basics. Hey, squares, boxes, circles, cylinders, draw those, shading. But with you, I've learned storytelling, and I am
mm.
learning storytelling, and that is way more exciting than than just focusing on the fundamentals. Um, but it definitely changed the way that I see art for the better. I don't think that I'm here right now if I don't meet Chris Legaspi. As far
Mm.
as uh, um, art is concerned, I want to be as the best version of myself as an artist. I just
Mm.
want to. I know that I'm going to be 40 years old one day, and I want to
Mm.
wake up at 40 years old and say, I worked my butt off, and I
Mm.
did everything that I could to be the greatest artist that I can be. Because genuinely, like if I go one day without drawing, I feel like I lost a piece of myself, honestly. I know that sounds crazy, but
Mm.
if I if I don't draw for one day, I feel gone. So I know that art is for me. I know art is my passion.
Yeah, thank you. I would agree with that. And I really appreciate the comment. And you mentioned, you want you don't want to you don't want to. It sounds like you don't want to be 40 years old and have some regret, but
Yeah.
you're definitely on the way. If you don't mind, Willie, how old are you now?
I'm 27. I'm 26. 26.
20. Oh, you have plenty of time. In fact, one of my mentors, the great Mark Westermo. So shout out to any Mark Westermo students out there. He
Mhm.
started his drawing journey, Willie, at 27.
Oh,
He was an
wow.
amateur baseball player. And then he's like, oh, let me try this drawing thing. And then he arguably became one of the most successful movie poster artists in LA while he was
Wow.
alive at
It's
27.
never too
So
late.
no, not at all. So this is some gorgeous stuff we see here, and I'm so happy you brought up storytelling because that's one of the things that I became as a teacher. When I've been teaching over 20 years. When I first started being an educator and teaching and things, all I cared about was craft, 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 craft.
Yeah.
But now that I'm much older, I look 27, but I'm a lot older than that. I also too have evolved into emphasizing storytelling, and Willie has taken it and ran with it, as you can see by some of these pieces. And we'll look at where he was before and compare. But in my mind, Willie, it's becoming one of your strengths because we can all see that you can render like wow. We can all see that. We all can see you have beautiful, uh, classic academic skills, but it's the storytelling that impresses me. So I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Now that you've seen the best of our friend Willy, let's go back in time, Willy. And by the way,
Yeah,
thank you so much for sharing your work with me. I know many artists get so scared and nervous to look back at their older works. So I appreciate you having the courage and humility to share some of your past work. I know you're not proud of it, and we all know you have gone way beyond this. So
appreciate it.
thank you for that.
I actually love
Um,
looking at it because it reminds me of where I was. I don't hate it, if I can say that. I don't hate it.
No, and yeah, we were talking offline earlier. This is the first time, guys, that I've seen Willie's work before me, honestly, and I was very impressed. I was like, wow, he had talent before me. I can't take all the credit. Shoot.
I
All right,
appreciate it.
we have this character piece. Tell us a little bit about this. Where were you? How old were you? What's the story here?
So this character, I was around, I believe, 21, 22. So it wasn't too far away, too long ago. I remember I was working with modern day James. He's a YouTuber. He was
Mm,
having mentorships. I was working with him, and he was just showing me how to construct a figure and basic shading. So like getting a color, putting it on, and then multiply layer. Instead of doing all the extra like learning color theory, basically this was like the quick way to just get a character to look like an anime character and stuff, because that's
mm,
where I started off. I wanted to be, that the anime guy. You know how we all start
mm,
off. I watch anime,
mm,
so I was drawing anime. I wanted to just draw anime. So this is kind of where that stemmed from.
mm. Yeah, I was gonna say it does have um, it has a comic book feel. That was my first impression. So that's great, and it's wonderful that you sought out other professional artists so early in your journey. All right, so that was clearly Willie had some talent with the figure. Now tell us about this portrait. Looks like a work in progress. Where did this come from? What's the story behind this?
This one was actually 2 years ago, believe it or not. This was 2 years ago. This was
What?
my first, yeah. Yeah, the thing was, this was my first time going into something painting. I was always drawing, I was always sketching and, pencil rendering. So this was a painting that I did. I forget who the mentor was, but they told me to start off painting. Don't use any line works. Just get a block in a shape and try to get the major shapes in. And as you can see, I struggled mightily. But it taught me a lot as far as seeing a portrait, seeing something for what it is simply, instead of trying to get the eyes and the head and the nose, seeing it like that.
Mm. Sorry, Willie. I am just shocked to see your progress. When you told me this was 2 years, I was like, it. It on the surface, it may not sound like a lot of time, but I see like what we mentioned. Really, it's obviously the quality, the rendering, the lighting, the edges, all that good stuff, all the craft we can all see. But what I see, Willie, is the storytelling.
Mm.
This newer portrait on the right, it just hits different. It's like, oh, it makes you kind of pause and think. So unbelievable progress. Congratulations.
Thank you,
And
thank you.
let's take a look at some figures. So this is these drawings here that you're seeing now on screen. These are when Willie first joined me about 2.5 years ago now,
Hmm.
and I'm reviewing them for the first time. And I was my first thought, it popped in my head. I'm like, wow, this guy could draw back then too. Shoot, figure wise, I was very impressed with your figures. Can you tell us where did you learn figure drawing? Because it looks very solid to me.
Thank you. It was definitely, I started figure drawing in high school. So when
Uh,
I was 14, 15, I was always like, oh my God, I want to draw figures. Um, wasn't really good at it, great at it, but I had help from modern day James as well,
Mm-mm.
where he was just showing me like how to break it down in shapes, and break down contours, and manipulating contours and trying to uh, understand perspective. That's kind of where it started.
Mm.
But as far as, I was always figure drawing. Like I had like 8 sketchbooks full of
Mm.
figures. It's always been. I still draw figures to this day nonstop.
Mm. Mm.
Like I prefer to just draw figures over portraits. So yeah, I've always been figure drawing.
We got to get you to Thailand one day. You can come draw with
Ah,
me.
that would be a dream. That would be
I
a
know.
dream. The thing
So,
is, like I've doing it digitally is so different than doing it traditionally.
mm-mm.
Those figure drawings. So I would love to get a lot better at my traditional figure drawings.
Mm. Yeah, Willie has been moving towards more traditional, and we'll talk about that at the end with his current works, his newer
Mm,
stuff. But this is very impressive, and it looks like you were very figure focused line. By the way, you mentioned you've been drawing figure drawing since you were young. Did you have a proper art class in high school, or did you take? Uh, did you have a good artist in your town that you learned with, or was it just kind of
no,
on your own?
it was definitely on my own.
Mm-mm.
My art teacher didn't like me when I was younger, and it was my fault. I was one of those bad kids, just playing around. Like she was like, "You have the skill, but you're not taking it serious." And I don't know. I just, as a kid, you're 14, 15. I didn't take it as serious. I was just drawing for the fun of it. But as far as like artists in my town, I think I was the only artist around. Honestly, I was known as the guy who draws, the art guy. So I kind of
Mm.
just took that and ran with it. There was no like artist. I've made a group of friends in my town where we
Mm-mm.
get together and we draw together and stuff like that. But besides that, it was always just me. I didn't really have any uh, one-on-one personal teachers that were in person.
Mm-mm. And you grew up in Fort Lauderdale. Is that what I understand?
Yeah, Fort
Fort
Lauderdale.
Lauderdale. Okay, yeah. In Florida, from what I remember, most of the action is in Sarasota around Ringling.
Yeah.
In terms of the realism and the top guys in Florida. Wow,
Yeah, there's also in Wynwood, it's like a really big art district.
Wynwood. Where is that?
Yeah, it's in Miami or
Oh,
around
Miami.
Miami. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't get that far south myself, but I'm very familiar with Sarasota. All right, so that was a look at Willie's journey a little bit before he found me, and right at the beginning of his training. Now we're going to take a look at some of the progress he made uh, during around his first or second year with me.
Hmm.
So let's go through these images. This one, when I think about your journey when we were working together, the thing that stands out, Willie, is
Yeah.
finish, because you were producing like beautiful, like this drawing. You're producing beautiful. I call them 80 percenters
Yeah.
or 70 percenters. Like they were clearly well constructed, well drafted. Everything is there. You just need that last 20, 10%. And I vividly remember, you know, I don't want to
Yeah.
say yelling at you, but I was like a football coach. I'm like, come on, you could do better. You could do better. Come on.
Yeah, you were, yeah.
All right, let's
I
let's
appreciated
uh,
it too.
let's bring up this piece. Talk to us about that, Willie, about your journey to become a finisher, because I believe
Mhm.
when you first started getting serious with me, that was, in my opinion, your biggest hurdle. So
Yeah,
talk to us
for
about
sure.
that and tell us a little bit about this drawing in that process.
Oh man. Honestly, that was one of those things where it was either gonna make or break me. Because I remember at one point you were like, "This looks good, but you're not seeing anything. You like it just it's like you said, it's like an 80% finish. And like I was like, man, I don't want to draw anymore, man. This is too hard. This is too difficult. But then what helped me was looking at like your work, looking at artists that I love, like seeing all of their finished stuff. And I went like a week of just looking at it and taking notes and trying to figure out what are they doing to make it look finished? Like, how do I make something look finished? And I remember we had a full conversation about it, and it
Hmm.
was like, you're like, take
More
notes,
than
like
one,
figure out how,
more than
yeah,
one.
a lot of conversations about it. And you were like, take notes, figure out how this makes you feel, and try to say that on a sheet of paper. Like try to get your emotions out on a sheet of paper, try to get these ideas and clarify them. And when you said that, that's when I was like, oh, okay. So whenever I draw something, it's more than just look at this image and repeat it. It's look at this image and say it. And that was the biggest hurdle. Once I kind of figured that out, it was like, okay, when I'm drawing something, I'm not trying to copy it anymore. I'm trying to say it to other people. I want people to look at this image and know what I'm saying, not try to guess.
Wow. Thank you for that. And that was some good advice. Oh my God, when I was hearing that, I was like, "Oh, that's good advice." I'm glad I said
Yeah,
that.
your advice. It's your advice.
I know. And like obviously this portrait, everything is there, it just needs a finish.
It
This
is that, yeah.
figure, we worked together a lot on this. I mean, everything was there. It was just it needed that last bit of finish.
That
Same with
finish,
this
yeah.
portrait here. Um,
I think
and
it was that perfection mindset that was really, really hindering me. It was like, if I can't get it perfect, I don't want to continue. And I knew that I
mm,
couldn't get it perfect, so I was afraid of just going for it, you know? I was
mm.
afraid of messing it up.
Yeah, and I also remember I felt you could have been working with better reference. So that
Yes.
I believe that's one thing also that you started doing. You started
Yeah.
picking reference that was like more clear, and now you've also started uh, at least a little bit of your own photography, which is fantastic.
Yes.
That's exactly. So guys, check this out on screen. So this is Willie. Remember, Willie's got plenty of skills, but he wants to be more. He wants to go from making anime sketches to finished works of art. So this is where he was, and now let's land on this piece, Willie, because this to me was a breakthrough. So tell us
Yeah.
about this piece. This I was so you know very proud and impressed. So tell us the story about how this emerged.
Oh man, yeah, no, this is definitely something that even now I look at it and I can actually say I'm proud of it because this one was something that I worked on for maybe I want to say like 2 months, and throughout the 2 months we were working together. We were getting together every week, so that's 8 sessions that we had to 8 1-hour sessions that we had.
Mm-mm. Mm.
Trying to figure out every single time you're telling me the same thing. All right, it looks good. What are you trying to say? All right, it looks good. How do you finish it? Like, what more can you say about it? And you're teaching me composition and different things
Mm-mm.
like that. But it was when you told me to write down your
Mm.
ideas about this image, write down how you feel about this image. That's when it started to stick to me. That's when you were like, that's when it kind of made more sense to me, was when you were telling me to write down what I wanted to say. And when I finally started writing it down, I was like, I wanted to feel more feminine. I wanted to feel like a woman
Mm.
is growing into something, is blossoming into something. How do I convey that? And this is kind of where it led me. It was sprouting up, and then
Mm.
like you know how a butterfly starts to sprout and fly away. Like they start off as
Mm-mm.
a caterpillar and all that, storytelling stuff. That's kind of where I was headed with this, but I didn't know how to achieve that until
Mm-mm.
I wrote it down and actually sat with it and was like, okay, now I
Mm.
know what to say. It wasn't me just going up and giving a speech anymore. It was me having all of those
Mm.
rough drafts first and finally knowing what I'm gonna say, then give my TED talk.
Oh, that's a beautiful analogy. Yeah, and here are some of the notes as we are working through this. I just want to say to Willie and to those watching, I'm remembering that period, and it was not hard on Willie. I was very hard on him And I'm assuming there were times you wanted to quit or break down,
Oh
or it
yeah.
was tough for you, but he kept coming back, guys. He kept coming back every. I was like, this guy's not gonna quit.
No.
I got on you pretty hard because I knew. I was like, I know you got more. I know you
Yeah.
got more. I could see it. We could all see it. But in my way, I was just trying to squeeze it out of you. And I feel like that was a, as a, mentor student relationship, that was a challenging period. But he just kept coming back, guys. He kept coming back every week.
Mhm.
He didn't quit. And so I want to commend you on that, because that is not easy. That is not easy
Mhm.
to break through a personal comfort zone barrier. Basically, he
Yeah.
basically broke through a big artistic barrier, and that is tough. So congratulations for coming back. And here's this gorgeous portrait. I mean, it on the at first glance you're like, oh, that's a gorgeous realistic academic portrait. But now that I'm seeing it, with what you just told us, it has much more depth than an ordinary portrait. It has more feeling. So this is incredible. Were
That's
there any
one
other
thing that
challenges you had? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, it's fine. I was gonna say that's one thing that really sat with me was to ignore the voices that were saying, "Hey, just give it up." Because when you're an artist and you've always been told you're an artist, and it's basically your identity. It's basically what you put your sense of self on. Whenever you fail, it feels bigger than just a regular failure. It feels whenever someone tells you, "Hey, this doesn't look good." It feels like you're saying, "Hey, like Woody, you don't look good. Woody, like Willie, like this is a critique on you, the person." That's how it felt until I was able to kind of like separate that and realize like, okay, yes, my identity is an artist, but I am not what I create. I am the person who creates it. So being able to separate that was the reason why I kept coming back. It was like, all right, he's not saying Woody's an awful person. He's saying
No.
Woody, you can do better. And
Mm.
I know how it feels. This is for anyone who's watching. I know how it feels to be told your work doesn't look good. I know what it feels like. It doesn't
Mm.
mean that you're a bad person or you're a bad artist. It just means you still have room to grow. And that's okay. That's the goal. That's the journey. And I appreciate it.
Wow, well said. And the last part was was my favorite. You said it's okay. It's okay
Yeah,
to be on the journey. There's nothing wrong with that. We all are there. Wow, what a
definitely.
man. Thank you for that story. Now, um, let's wrap up with this, and we'll take a look at where Willie's at now, and we'll talk about what he's planning to do in the future. So here we have one of the things, the newest portraits Willie shared with me, this gorgeous JayZ portrait. Can you tell us, first of all, how does it feel, Willie, to know that you are able to craft something like this at this level of quality?
Man, it feels great, honestly. It feels like I finally jumped a hurdle that I was struggling to jump over for years. Um, but it also reminds me that there's still room to grow. I always want to keep that and stress that, like, for myself, that throughout this JayZ piece, for instance, uh, I'll send over some of the beginning starts of it. Like you'll look at it and be like, what, what, like if it wasn't genuinely for the help that you gave, and like even though you've stressed upon me the ideas of storytelling, it wasn't just, oh, okay, I get it and now it works. Like I had to keep being reminded. You had to keep telling me, all right, Woody, you're drawing again. Like get back to storytelling. Woody, you're drawing again. Get
Mm.
back to storytelling. So it's not like oh, I figured it out. Um, that's it. Like I'm golden. It's just all right. It's another part of the process. I sense over the beginning stages of it so people can
Oh, I,
see.
I remember. I remember.
Yeah, it's more than just. It feels great to know that I finished it, But I know that when I get to my next piece, it's a start of a new journey. It's not like, oh, I figured it all out. Every single drawing after this is going to be easy. No, it's all right. I
Mhm.
figured it out. Time to go to my next struggle.
Yeah, well said. And I appreciate your introspectiveness, for lack of a better word. You're very thoughtful, and it shows in your work. I feel like you have
Thank you.
now that you're able to pour all of that emotion into your work now, and it's really showing. So wow, side by side, these look incredible. It looks like an unbelievable journey. This
Which
evolution is
it's funny.
incredible.
It's a year apart. Each one is a year apart.
Mm. Yeah, you can see the slow march towards this. Wow, this is come a long way. Thank you so much. Let's take a look at this gorgeous figure you posted. I may have to cover it for
Yeah, for sure.
the you know what.
Yeah.
But this to me, Willie, is impressive because on the surface it looks, oh, it's just a gorgeous figure drawing, but I see nuance, and more importantly, I see nuance that I emphasize to you. So
Yeah.
tell us about this figure. We all have seen your gorgeous portraits. Where did the inspiration for the figure come from, and for this piece? What's tell us about it?
Definitely. Like I said, I love drawing the human body. I'm obsessed with anatomy. I love studying anatomy. It's honestly it's one of those things where I can't get enough of. I know I'm gonna learn something new when I start it. And this one was actually sent to me by the model herself. She saw my work and she was like, I would love for you to recreate any photo that I made in your style. And I was like, yeah,
Yo, what a
yeah.
compliment.
Yeah, it meant the world to me. So she sent me a few photos, but this one was definitely the one that was my favorite. It just stood out to me because of the composition, the pose, the power, but the softness of it. And I want to capture that when I draw it. I want people to look at it and feel that softness, but also that elegance, that power as well,
Mm,
with how muscular, not muscular in the sense that she's like buff or anything, but like with
she's lean. She's
yeah,
lean.
she's lean, but also feminine with the curves as well. So I wanted to capture that as I was studying this, but as on top of that, I want to be able to tell that story purely through value and not just through lines. So keeping those edges soft,
Mm,
and the parts where I want you to look at, I've kind of kept those edges sharp. So it's
mm,
definitely a lot of ideas that I'm working towards. It's not completely finished. I've still got some more
right.
ideas that I've got to emphasize, but that's the goal.
For sure. It's a work in progress, for sure. We
Yeah.
can all see that. But yeah, and by the way, I've been a professional for over 20 years. Ain't nobody sent me nude photo to do it. Jeez. Dang. Maybe you should teach a class on that.
One of these days. One of these days.
Wow. And you know what impresses me most? I mean,
Mm,
uh, clearly the craft is very, very good. We can all see that. But what I'm impressed about is the design. There's nuances in design. Look how he popped out this tricep. Look how he pinched the tricep here and then popped out the fabric and then put this beautiful, gorgeous accent. I mean, the accents alone, I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I would have done. Let's accent this shoulder. And even though it's a work in progress, like I mentioned to you in the chat, that the face is drawn so well. All you just need to do is keep going, but keep the edges as it is, and it will read so perfect.
hmm
Everything is drawn well and in place. This is incredible. Do you plan to do more figures, or are you working on a portrait right now? What's going on?
Yeah, actually, hopefully everything works out the way that we want it to, but I will be starting life drawing classes in my area, as far as like having people come and actually we all life draw together. Like we already have the space, we've got a model, we're just trying to figure out the pricings and how much we got to pay and all that stuff, but hopefully it goes through. But that's gonna be a big thing. Yeah, if we can get that started, that's my next thing.
Oh,
So that's gonna help me practice traditional life drawing.
Man, you just melt my heart, man. You just melt my heart. Holy cow. That was the greatest thing you could have said to me. Woo. Nothing makes me more happy when people set up life drawings.
Yeah,
Oh,
pick that
I
up
am
from
so
you.
happy to hear that. And I'm gonna take some credit because
Yeah, for sure.
I those of you watching me, I hound everybody. I'm like, where's them life drawings? Why don't you go to life
Hmm.
drawing? I hound everybody. That's amazing to hear. And
And it's all for the betterment of that person too. That's what I really want to stress is the how much I appreciate that I met you is because everything you've ever said and told us has purely been for the betterment of ourselves. It's never felt like you're saying, do this because you felt like you were better or you felt like this, that. Like, no, it was purely because you knew that we had the potential to do more and
mm,
we weren't exercising that potential. That's one thing that I have to stress is like I really appreciate that from you, Chris.
oh, thank you so much. Yeah. And I can sense that you are the type of artist that needed that. So it's
Yeah.
a two-way street. And before we talk about your live streams and your educational work, I wanted to bring up your beautiful new pencil drawings that you shared with us, and
Mm.
also I believe these are inspired. You've been recently also learning tattooing. Is that
Yes.
correct? The pencil drawings are inspired with that. Can you tell us a little about these new traditional pencil drawings and a little bit about your tattooing?
Yeah, definitely. The pencil drawings are a side effect of the tattooing. As I'm learning tattooing, they were telling me if I do want to get better, uh, getting used to tattooing, traditional is where to start because a lot of the same practices you do with traditional is what you do with tattooing. And so whenever I go to the tattoo shop, before I, practice on the fake skin, before I tattoo with the fake skin, I, sit down, grab some reference, and try to sketch out. Just draw. Instead of using my tablet like I always do. I'm sitting there for an hour or two, and then just
Mm.
sketching, trying to you know get used to freeing my hand up because digital it's not I don't want to say easier, but it has more tricks to help me be a little more lazy. I can cheat my way into getting specific lines.
Convenient is the right word I would use.
Convenient, yeah, thank you
It's
for like
convenient.
yeah, convenient. It was more convenient, and with traditional, it's unforgiving. You mess up here, then you erase, and it dulls the paper out. So you have to figure out where you want those lines to be before you put them down. And it's kind of the same thing with tattooing is you have to make sure you have that idea down before you put the needle on skin. So uh, doing the traditional has directly affected helping me doing the tattooing. And the tattooing is something that I never thought I would do. I remember
Mm.
having friends always like, "Why aren't you tattooing? Like, you can draw. Like, you should be tattooing." I'm like, phooey. I don't want to do that. I don't want to draw for other people. I don't want to, damage anyone's skin or anything like that. But the more I see tattoo artists who's doing the same thing that I do, like there's tattoo artists who do portraits on human beings. There's tattoo artists who do like academic work on skin. That's oh man, that's something that I would love
Mm.
to do. Love to specialize in is like creating portraiture on a human being and stuff like that. So once I realized that tattooing isn't just Chinese symbols on the skin, it's or stuff like that. There's nuance in it. Once I finally seen what tattooing really was, I found another love for another art craft that I just want to
Mm.
delve into.
Yeah, and it's advanced so much, and like you said, there are a ton of guys out there that have real drawing skills that came into tattooing and are just doing incredible things on skin. It's unbelievable what they're able to accomplish.
Crazy.
And so let's close with your educational work. I know in the past few years or so you were really active doing live streams. You also teach on your YouTube channel, I believe, mostly.
Yes.
You make live streams and educational content. And this drawing here is just I believe it's from one of your live streams. Can you tell
Yes.
us about your educational content, your educational work, and your journey to teach and teach online and things?
Yeah, lately I haven't been able to, just because, like I said, I have so much going on with the tattooing, with the life drawing, with work and all that stuff. So I haven't been able to focus on the YouTube aspect as much, but sooner than later, I will be back on it doing the critiques, um, all of the live stream studying, like live studying that I usually do, because when I'm live streaming, I can kind of focus a lot more and not like pick up my phone when I'm studying, or go on Instagram and anything like that. So the YouTube live streams were purely a way for me to learn without added stress of um, the added stress of picking up my phone or like being distracted by everything else. Like there would be people in there that would be asking questions, that would
Mm,
be saying, "Hey, you messed up here," and I'll be like, "Oh, okay, no, you're right, yeah." So it was definitely a big help. I'm definitely gonna get back into it, and also you can see the progresses that I've made with
mm,
the portraits on my live streams. You can see where I start, where it's like I said, it's never, oh, I figured it out. I'm gonna get into a drawing and it's gonna be easy. Like no, it's
mm,
I figured it out. I found a really nice photo. I'm trying to recreate it. Let me struggle for 10 hours, and then the next 10 hours is going to be the most mind relaxing feeling that you'll ever have, because now that you went through 10 hours of stress and everything, all the questions have been answered, the next 10 hours is just soothing rendering and just
mm.
relaxing and just letting your hand move. The greatest feeling in the world, honestly.
Yeah, just the fact you use the word soothing tells me everything I need to know about you. I will never use that word because to me,
No?
rendering is stressful too. I'm like, oh my God.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
I don't know why. I don't I enjoy it, but yeah.
I love
I
rendering.
just I say that because yeah, we can clearly see rendering is something that you love to do. So
Yeah.
this is fantastic. Wow. Thank you so much, Willie, for showing us all of your work, and we got to see some of your YouTube channel here. So let's where are you headed now? You're working on the life drawing. You're doing some
Mm.
tattooing. What are you working on now? What are some things you have planned in the future, and what are some pieces or projects that you are interested in now?
Yeah. Right now it's just focusing on the main objective, and it's just getting this portfolio out.
Mm,
I'm slowly trying to figure out how to take my own reference photos. But in the meantime, I'm studying other photographers. I'm grabbing a lot of reference from photographers, and I mean photographers who understand art. When they take a photo, it's not just, ooh, let me take a pretty photo. It's the composition, it's the lighting, it's the idea behind the photo. I want to be able to do that and create my own works. See, like take photos and recreate them in my own work. That's the dream. That's the goal, is taking
mm.
my own photos and recreating it. But in the meantime, right now, I'm just focusing on learning how to take the photos, how to edit photos, how to, you know, take that to the next step. So yeah, I'm definitely delving into photography as well.
Yeah, I love to hear that. I'm on the same path myself, and that is the natural evolution. So you
Yeah,
are
for sure.
definitely on the right track. Thank you so much, Willie. And I have one final question for you, Willie. If there's someone out there watching that may be hesitant to seek out a mentor or to seek out a workshop or a class with a professional or expert artist, they may be like, oh, I do want to improve, but I don't know who to go. I don't know. Is it worth the money? Is it worth the investment? What do you have to say to someone who may be on the fence about seeking out expert help, mentorship, or guidance?
Oh man, that's a great question. Honestly, I would say I don't create what I create now if I didn't have mentorship. Um, when I say vision, a lot of us are blinded at what we're doing. If I drew this, I would have been stuck at the first phase, because I wouldn't be able to see things the way a master artist has seen these things. A master artist has been through these struggles that I've been through, and they tell you what you need to do to excel in that. I feel like what would have taken me 20 years to figure out has only taken me 10, and
Mm,
or it has only taken me 5. Maybe because I started at a younger age where it maybe is a little quicker in some people's eyes, but this was a grueling journey, or it is a grueling journey. It's not easy at all. And honestly, I would have gave up if I didn't have mentorship. Like I would have just stuck to drawing the things that I like to draw and that I was comfortable with drawing. Mentorship has told me to strive for more because I can,
mm,
not because of anything else. They strive for more because I can. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't have strived for more. I would have stuck to the uh the anime. And then there's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm not like trying to say there's anything wrong with that. But for someone who's put their identity in art, I want to be more than just an anime person. I want people to see the work and see that I care about it. And that that wouldn't happen if I didn't have mentorship. It's so necessary. Like I cannot stress that enough. It is so necessary. Yes, people can do it alone. Yes, you can figure these things out alone. I don't doubt that at all. There are artists who have done it before. But if you really do want to become a better artist, if you really want to create things that you dreamed of creating, having someone to be able to guide you to figuring those things out is priceless.
yeah, thank you for that. And we can see the results of that training. And in my mind, the results speak for themselves. They're
Yeah.
undeniable. And well said. I appreciate that. All right, Willie, where can people find you? Where can they keep up with you? Where can they see your next gorgeous portraits? Where can they find your educational content if you're doing anything new?
Mhm.
Where can people keep up with you in your latest artwork?
Yeah, YouTube, Willy O Art.
Okay,
You can find me there. I will be doing the live streams again sooner than later. Instagram as well, Willy O Art.
okay.
I post there frequently on my story majority of the times, but I also post on the page and also on School, SKOOL. I will have the link in the bio soon. If you're interested in the mentorship as well, it will be there.
And he is here. And by the way, guys, Willie is taking up a leadership role. He's obviously he's learning from me, but because we have so many younger artists and artists that are where Willie was 2 3 years ago, he's in here and becoming a leader and a mentor himself. So I appreciate you. So definitely, those of you who like Willie, you may want to hit him up and say, man, how can I learn from you, Willie? Wow, this is great. Now I'm going to put Willie's IG, his Instagram, and YouTube on the screen here and in the description below. Thank you for your time, Willie. I
Thank you,
appreciate
Chris.
you, and thank you for all this beautiful work. I look forward to continuing to work with you and see you grow as we all do. Thank you
Vice
so much,
versa.
Willie.
Thank you. Really
All right.
appreciate the chance to speak and just this opportunity.
Thank you, Willie. We'll talk soon.
All
Take
right,
care.
have a nice day.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.